It's Daybreak on Rise News, and it's that time for the press preview. First look at what's on the front pages of the papers, and we're starting with our sister publication, Newsday, This Day newspaper. All right, on the front page, I mean, we just watched Ortom now blowing hot. I don't know whether to say blowing hot and cold before we bring in Emmanuel. Ortom undecided about support for Atiku, wants Wike placated. He says 6 meeting between PDP candidate Rivers governor, real reasons Wike lost out on VP nomination. Fayose explains why Wike won't support former vice president's ambition. The Senate delegation leaves for London tomorrow. Let's look at some other Irabo. Nigeria's security problem requires political solution. Whatever that means. Where it says with citizens working alongside state agencies, 2021 elections will be peaceful. Then just on top of that, FG blames terrorists for perennial nationwide power outage. CBN sets January 2023 deadline for financial institutions to tighten news on cyber crime. Then R. Kelly sentenced to 30 years in prison for sex trafficking charges. He sang a song, I admit it. I was listening to that song yesterday. Ken.
Yeah, the Punch newspaper is leading with running mate. Wike Okowa's camps clash as Ortom Fayose threatening Atiku's bid. Federal accounts allocation declines by 30%. States' finances may worsen. That's on page 20 and so from the Minister of Finance. And reps probe petrol subsidy payment, alleged $10 billion revenue loss. And US musician R. Kelly bags 30 years for sex trafficking.
All right, Nation, the Nation, so much talk about in the papers this morning. It says, ahead 2023 presidential poll, Fayose awesome, rattle PDP. Executive governor insists power must shift. Benue governor falls Atiku on Wike. Poor attendance at Osho campaign council initiation. How COVID-19 has driven digital banking by World Bank. And then you have Sanwo-Olu inaugurates digitized containers classrooms. And then at the top mast, why importers are abandoning Nigerian ports by operators. Evaluations to blame. And then by the right of that picture, it says Kaduna train attack, victim shot in captivity. Court holds all your deputy governor's planned sack. Of course, you know he moved over to APC. Yes?
The Guardian is leading with rumps in PDP over calls for IU's removal and weaker shabby treatment. And state healthcare budgets dip from, to 4.65%. And worries over growing population of street children in Cross River. Guinea fires back at opposition youth seeking his redeployment. That's the INEC commissioner in Akwa Ibom State.
Oh, well, leadership totally has a different thing from what the papers are talking about. Ottoman. It says a constitution amendment. 3 months after, state assemblies foot drag over exercise. And then just below, just above that constitution amendment, you see 11 PDP governors boycott Osho campaign council inauguration. And then at the top mast, alleged organ harvesting, a Kweramado wife may return to court today. Is it today or the 7th? Reps to probe 2017-2021 fuel subsidy regime.
A quick look at the international papers. The Times, troops surge to defend NATO's east from Putin.
All right, now we're talking about foreign papers. Independent, yeah, the firms cashing in on housing for vulnerable. Wimbledon dream over for Raducanu. Just the other day, it was all over. Raducanu was everywhere, but Wimbledon dream is over for her.
Well, the Financial Times and high inflation will persist longer in the UK. Bailey warns. A NATO summit, Erdogan and Biden find common cause as U.S. stiffens defenses.
The Guardian and the Tory privatization linked to increase in NHS death rates. Rebels plot takeover to force PM from office. Boris Johnson is still not having it easy. Raducanu knocked out, but not everyone was there. That's what that paper says. Okay, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who is here with us in the studio. Emmanuel, good morning. Glad to have you.
Good morning, indeed.
All right. Well, about 3 or 4 papers has the story. Ortom, undecided about support for Atiku, wants Wike placated. How would you placate Wike? What do you make of Ortom's outburst? How will it affect the fortunes of PDP in an election next year?
In the good morning, Kenneth, morning. It's the kind of morning you wake up and see these kind of stories, and you know that very well that a whole lot of things are going on in the background, and that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So, and it's very interesting to hear all that Ortom is saying, fighting the weakest one, saying that Wike has not been treated well, and because of that, Atiku will need to. And he provided a solution, say Atiku should walk up to Wike and stop sending people to him, stop asking people to go talk to Wike. We've not had much after the primaries from Wike himself, other than some reports are attributed to him. For instance, when he said that if they think he's so garrulous and he talks too much, why should they be coming to him now? There was a report like that. So no matter how you look at it, in the Wike is the bride here. Is the beautiful bride here that everyone is courting at the moment, and so he's got his what's that thing that we say out here? When a beautiful woman is playing those hard to get thing to bride to her suitor. So that's what he is now. At the point, Rivers State became a make of sorts for all sorts of politicians. Everyone went to Wike, talking about someone shining in the feet, and everyone went there. Now he's holidaying in some part of the world, and he's there with all political leaders of all sorts. So it's his moment in the sun, and back home, people fighting for him. Faishe joining the fray, saying that, look, Wike has not been treated well. But you also have to put yourself in the shoes of Atiku. Why will he have picked Wike? There are people who say if they were Atiku, they won't pick someone like Wike because of the baggage Wike represents. That he will be needing someone like Okowa, someone that can be able to work with him. He can work with, and a lot of people see Okowa as level-headed, cool, calm. So if you look at the way Wike even went so virulent on Atiku, on the person of Atiku in the build-up to the primaries, you understand that it's not far-fetched that Atiku might not be able to take that decision. Even if you're going to waive off the human part of it, the individual part of it, what about the political baggage represented by Wike? Even the paper reporting that he's anti-North sentiment, or somebody who is not seen as friends to the North, especially when it comes to revenue allocation. He went to court and ensured that, and some people saw that are saying that because only Lagos and his state, for instance, can actually do the sort of thing that he went to court to seek for. So forces in the North did not say, but that didn't go down well with a lot of people in the North. Maybe Atiku put all of that into consideration and say that, look, I'll be needing someone that would be, acceptable across board. And again, but whether you like it or not now, maybe Atiku will have to actually do what Ortom is asking him to do, which is reach out to Wike and have those talks with him. Maybe actually also tell him the roles that he's supposed to play, and as we go for Ortom saying that, look, I need the party to win, but you see, if you treat someone the way Wike was treated, I think the idea was that Wike was actually supposed to emerge. You remember that some papers were almost reporting already that Wike was going to be the running mate.
I remember that you were telling me it was Wike, and I was telling you that.
India was not the only one telling you. Papers were reporting it. We didn't report it. This they didn't report it, but some papers were already suggesting and reporting. And some people say that was a leak, actually. Again, this they report today say that was a leak, even from the Wike side, to tie the hands of Atiku, so to say. So, but Atiku, thinking around some of those issues that I have just raised, decided Okowa might just be it. And a lot of people hail the Okowa coming. And at the point, we thought Wike was a good sportsman, you know, because he conceded, and they had those meetings that look as if reconciliation was on board. Of course, what you are seeing, what's happening now, is he a sore loser, or is he trying to position himself for something better? Time will tell, and it's an interesting game. Like I said, these people have a way of surmounting some of these hurdles to come to some form of interest. Or someone's talking about interest. At the end of the day, is where is your interest best served, best covered?
Talking of interest, in the Nation newspaper, this isn't so interesting, but it's sad. The Kaduna train attack victim has been shot in captivity. Emmanuel, we haven't heard much about rescuing those who are still being held. What more can we do? Should we pray? What way should the government go?
You know, kind of the word rescue is even misleading, because nobody gets rescued. What happened is that, you know, they go into negotiations of all sorts, and also people are involved, individuals, you know, private people, not just even at the government level, who do a lot of talk in the background. It's harrowing, you know, and that is how you get some people released. I think release is the right one, because rescue will mean that you have those military, you know, actions that lead to some kind of rescue. So, but what you find is really, so some were released, some are still in captivity. The stories that you just said now, the crisis of the fact that those bandits are still making serious demands, and actually making good their threat that, look, we're going to finish off the remaining hostages here. So that's worrisome. That's like I said, it's just you don't even need to be a member of the family of these victims to feel the anguish and the serious, extraordinary human tragedy that is associated with this. You say prayer, but of course, prayer is not always you know, not just enough. Some actions too on the part of those who are supposed to do the right thing, and I think that's where you're having this strident call again by everybody that, look, government must do something, because as long as they remain in captivity, we are all down there with them. Nobody is free. An injury to one is an injury to all of us, and we need to actually think of that as we even cover these stories.
And the writer said, faith without works is useless. I mean, it's nothing. You pray and then you work it out. All right. Leadership is towing a different line altogether. Leadership talks about constitutional amendment 3 months after State Assembly's foot drag over exercise, and then 11 PDP governors boycott Osun Campaign Council inauguration. Emmanuel, there's so much to talk about in the papers. You have the Koremadu, you have the Kelly sentenced to 30 years. So take your pick from what I've just...
You say earlier you say you listened to an R. Kelly song.
Oh,
I was also listening to one
minutes.
yesterday. I wish, and you know, you just, sometimes it pains you to know that this guy sang some of the finest songs and then what happened? And the more you read these stories, the more you begin to wonder. But then again, it shows how that life itself, the glamour associated with stardom, with being being a rock star, that glamour comes with its own price. And in most cases, when you think of Bill Cosby, when you think of R. Kelly, you think of Michael Jackson too in his heyday, you begin to understand how this whole thing affects them. The fact that it's on the front page of some papers tells you how many people have fans of R. Kelly. I think we all, I don't know about Kenneth, but I listen to
I'm sure Ken is. Who doesn't love R. Kelly?
So we listen to R. Kelly a lot. So
songs.
I think we can identify with his tragedy. One, of course, you can say, well, justice has been served. You know, at the courts, his victims were holding hands together. But on the flip side, also, you feel almost something of a pity for, the fate of a man and how he's ended his career, such a glorious career. But there's room for appeal. We don't know what will happen to R. Kelly.
Oh, okay. I believe it can fly, Ken.
Thank you so much.
Do you believe you can fly?
I'm flying already.
All right. Okay. I haven't seen your wings, unless you tell me you're an angel. All right.
R. Kelly can fly out of this for now.
Well, he said there's an appeal, so he could fly out of it.
He's still got other cases to answer in other states,
boy.
so there's still so much water to swim through. That's the press preview this morning. Thank you, Emmanuel.